I think I messed that up. Fortunately, we should be in the correct place at the correct time now. Welcome to episode 13 of Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader Last Scion. Some have called it What Lies Beneath, and those people are James, because James makes the names. Sometimes his episode names are descriptive. My episode names usually tend to be puns or shitty inside jokes that really only I'm gonna get. Although someone did point out I named an early episode of Battletech Baked Vengeance, and boy was that fucking incredible. Like, Baked Vengeance is so good. That's all I got. James, what do you have?
It's hard to come up with names that might be predictive for a game which is supposed to be a sandbox.
Correct.
Yeah, it's good. You could call it go left and everyone else goes right. But you know, it is intended to be somehow connected to the content I've got planned for the day. So that content might get completely ignored and avoided, but that's the case.
Yeah. No, I understand that concern.
Yep, that's it. So am I doing an intro then? Is this the idea?
Please do.
Okay, so welcome back to the show. Thanks for having me once again. I've had a week. I got to play Battletech this week with the regular Battletech crew, which is a lot of fun. Other than that, just playing some more Shipbuilder, some more Elder Scrolls Online, some more Day Job. I've got one more week of Day Job left before a month of holidays. So looking forward to taking a break and doing some modeling and doing some painting. But that's pretty much me at the moment.
I have an update for you, James.
Okay.
You are the regular Battletech crew now. You don't play with them. You are encompassed by them. Pondo, help me give James a virtual hug. Just do it. Oh, he did it. Oh, wow. I really did not expect that to work. Okay. You know, just for that, Pondo, let's hop over to you.
I mean, he had to put up with me through Wrath and Glory, so... where I probably made several mistakes.
Listen, you don't have to talk to me about making mistakes. I live here.
Yeah, no, I haven't really done much since Thursday. I essentially was out of town. I didn't get back till fairly late. I was trying to get here sooner, but yeah, it is what it is. I haven't really done much. I'm just playing remakes of old games like SpongeBob. I will say that.
How is that? I've seen so many people playing it. I'm like, why? Why you play this?
It's because I used to play it when I was back on PlayStation 2. Kind of one of those things where it's not that it was like an excellent game. It was just a really good game that had a lot of charm to it.
Is it kind of like playing Spyro again, sort of thing?
Yes.
Like,
and it's just nostalgia, essentially.
I assume it's like the cartoon where it's targeted at kids, but it's got plenty of stuff for adults as well.
It has a crap. They added a bunch of like subtle references on there. Like essentially spots where there's pretty much nothing. It was just texturing of the wall. They put like different images, or some parts they have like the one in SpongeBob. It's been a delight. It's been lovely. That's all I gotta say about that. And yeah, other than that, I haven't really done much else except mostly been driving. A lot of driving. Occasionally not on the speed limit, I will admit that.
Why would you admit that?
Because I should be honest, and they can't get me now.
because you're too fast? Is that why?
No, it's because I'm done driving.
Apparently, I was reading recently, this is one of the biggest complaints that Americans have when they come to Australia, is the fact that our speed limits here are so enforced. You know, you go a few Ks over the limit and you're getting pulled over and fined. My company just got a new CEO from California, moved to Australia, and yeah, he was here a week before he copped a speeding fine, and he was shocked that, you know, in America it's sort of a bit more loose.
I honestly don't understand it. I drive at the speed limit in the United States. It's fucking wild, the number of people. Never had a speeding ticket. Only time I was pulled over was going under the speed limit. The thing I hear about Americans is that we stop at red lights at night, which is apparently not a thing that people do in some countries. That if there's no one else around, they'll just go.
That's when you're most likely to get hit.
I can say people here stop at red lights at nighttime for sure.
Yeah, but let's say the nighttime takes 30 seconds to a minute to roll that red light over. Here in America, most people are pretty trained at sitting still because we have traffic cameras everywhere. We ain't London, but we're close.
See, we don't have the whole presumption where you can turn right on a red light if there's nobody around.
Wow.
And so I found when I was driving in the US, people honking me because I was stopped at the lights and the light was red and I wasn't turning.
Let's be honest. I mean, in Australia, there's really only one road. It just goes around the entire country. It's like having one artery and then you got a couple capillaries that come off of it. Listen, everything I just said is a gross underestimation of the Australian road system.
My parents do live on that road, that one road that goes around most UK. My parents live on it, so.
Yeah,
I mean, really I gotta be honest, most people in Australia live on it.
I don't know about that. Most people live in fucking Sydney or Melbourne.
I'll buy that.
On that road.
I'll buy that. I mean, Cairns is basically just that road and 90 marinas to take you to the Great. Cairns?
How did you say that?
Cairns.
I've never heard it said that way.
What am I supposed to be saying? It's Cairns?
Cairns.
Yeah. Sorry, my American's getting to me.
I mean, I lived in America and I talked to a lot of tourists in Australia. Never once have I heard it said like that.
All right.
Wow, that's incredible. Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate your mockery.
I mean, it's not mocking. It's just I've just never heard it like that. So you can say it however you want. Honestly, it's a stupid word. So
yeah, I mean, AP's been there and I haven't. So he's probably got more authority in that matter.
That's rough. Listen, I went there. It was a beautiful night. Breeze, warm breeze. I want to say summer breeze, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't summer there. It was the opposite of summer. It was the warm
ocean breeze.
Listen, the warm ocean breeze, the palm trees were. I had a hotel with a top story room overlooking the beach. It was fantastic.
You see those fruit bats, bro?
No, didn't see any fruit bats. I threw some boomerang. I mean, I have the boomerangs. They're on the wall behind me. I went to they had holographic kangaroos at the local Aboriginal. I want to call it a theme park, but
you went
that's
to
what
the
it was.
Yeah.
The holographic kangaroos really freaked me out. I wasn't ready for that holographic technology yet.
That's weird. Maybe because touching an actual kangaroo is stinky and gross.
I love how you people hate kangaroos. It fucking baffles me.
They're a plague animal.
They really are. Everyone's like, oh man, they're so cute. It's like, no. When you've pulled a couple hundred kangaroos out of fences, then you realize how much of a fucking pain in the ass they are.
While I was there, I was like,
the worst.
I would have eaten some kangaroo, and they're like, "Do you eat rats?"
Yeah, it's a poor man's beef. Exactly.
It is not a great meat because they're so muscly. They have no fat to.
Yeah.
I'll
the other thing is
that.
too,
yeah.
you can't fucking kill them because
got to get your illegal rhubars, right?
No, it's not that. It's like most people who own rifles in Australia, if they shoot a kangaroo, the rifle's just not strong enough to kill them because they're nightmare beasts, basically. And they don't die from being shot. So you have to get a professional hunter to come out to cull your fucking kangaroo herds on your property because they're just such a pain in the ass. They are an absolute fucking nightmare to deal with. They ruin fences.
Let's do your intro
crops. Now. Okay, hey. I haven't been in Australia in 10 years. How's it going?
What's the terror beast of Poland?
The Terror Beast in Poland? Jeez, I don't know. I don't think they have one over here. They like to pretend they do, but they don't. You know? I mean, maybe like some weird. I don't know. They might have some sort of mountain animal. I don't know. It's a weird question. I haven't really thought
Obviously,
about it.
the Striga, right? Fuck.
Yeah. Anyway, hey everyone, Dave. Good to be back. I don't know what I've been doing. Working hard. We're doing localization right now for the Kinky games, and that's a bit of a weird thing to deal with. So we're trying to localize 7 different languages for the early access release, and
That's rough.
I'm getting weird. I mean, it's not rough. It's just like a weird question. Like, for example, we have a girl that you date in the game who is French, who speaks bad English. And when you're translating that to Korean, the effect isn't really the same, if that makes sense. Like it's kind of like
localization
like
is
a
rough.
weird sort of problem. Also, the idea that someone would willingly get drunk by themselves is also like another one, and some other things like that. It's a strange problem to deal with.
Yeah,
You kind of have
puns
to
are a
rejig
nightmare,
the
as are
story.
idioms.
Yeah. Also,
like the
we
fact
have
that-
like.
So good.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, it's like in the film The Thing. If you actually speak Norwegian, then the entire plot of the film is given away in the first 5 minutes, because the Norwegian people completely explain exactly what's going on in Norwegian without subtitles.
Wow.
And before they get shot.
I mean, that's perfect. That's literally like anti-whitewashing. I love that. Yeah. But we're getting through it, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I've been doing. I mean, I've been playing some games and stuff. Been getting caught up in that Persona 4 stuff. I bit the bullet. I was gonna wait to see if they removed De Novo, but then I was just like, fuck it, man, I don't care. De Novo is actually a huge pain in the ass, though. So if you can avoid buying that game right now, I would, until they remove De Novo. But yeah. What else? I don't know. I mean, that's pretty much it. We myself and James rejigged Dawn a little bit, so she's now got more agility than last time we played. Mostly because making a melee focused character without agility was kind of like tantamount to literally doing it wrong. So that's been fixed now. So that's about really all that's different. So
Okay. Dave, did I ever tell you about how sticky James thinks that you are?
what?
Sorry. Apparently shows that you are on, viewers stick around and watch them for longer. Cotton is the queen of stickiness, though. Ratosaurus is also quite it's like saying moist. You listen.
I think
you attract
moist
viewer
is in the same
stickiness.
level.
You're like a spider of stickiness.
I was gonna say a sponge because I absorb
Two-sided
watch
duct
time.
tape. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. I'll buy that. I didn't realize that Die Party Night City episode 1 had 23,000 views today. So
yeah, I think the character creation is like over like 80,000 now, or 60,000 or something like that. It's nuts.
I had
nuts
to
on
watch
the
it to remember what my character voice for Dante Fierro was.
Dante was.
Yeah. But I wrote down all the stuff that's going to be in his office for the first episode. Monto Santo Joja, a Trump bar.
Oh my God, Trump
bars, yeah.
That's a joke that aged terribly. Holy shit.
No, I really feel like it aged pretty well, actually.
Oh my God.
I mean, Dante Fierro was built around that joke, and the joke has continued to deliver for generations. All right, so in regards to what I've done, it's mostly preparing my whole studio for being disrupted. Got to pull this desk forward, got to eliminate this cabinet over here, unplug everything. While the person is here painting, I'm going to have to move stuff while they're painting, and he's going with two coats. So it's just going to be like a rotation of objects around my basement while he works. So it's going to be massively disrupting. So there will not be a Hard Space Shipbreaker Monday night. That's not going to happen. I'm hoping.
To ask you that, what do you think of the changes, though? Because I didn't get to watch the whole stream. I was
yeah, and you know what? Apparently the video did not finish uploading last night, so I'm uploading it now. To upload it tomorrow. Right before the stream is the first time I turned my computer on all day. Which tell you just
Wait, what did they change?
So when you flush the fuel, the reactor automatically starts melting down. James said that if you cut the ECU out, it also starts it, but I didn't get that experience. It didn't start until the fuel was flushed. Which is a big problem on geckos, especially industrial geckos. But the other thing that they changed is the reactor in a gecko, or at least in the industrial gecko, now faces forward-backward rather than up-down, and it's a lot easier to cut out. On the other hand, as soon as you start cutting it out, if you haven't already flushed the fuel for some reason, it begins overloading immediately and can crack the ship in half before you ever get it out of its capsule. There's now a couple bugs with door handles not opening. Like, you'll no longer get the option to open doors, which kind of sucks. I don't remember what some of the other changes were, but
they group the seats on the gecko, on the commercial gecko, so they
I haven't seen that yet.
3.
Yeah, that sounds like it'll be a hell of a lot better.
You can buy utility keys now.
That's
from
a big
the
one.
Master Jack.
Yeah, someone was trying to give me some. They were like, "Yeah, you can always find a utility key in a gecko," and I was like, yeah, "Okay, whatever." I get like 1 in 4. You can almost always find one in a mackerel though, which is really weird.
But they've also added a lot more screens, like a lot more sort of monitors to the roofs, especially in both the geckos. Like there's a lot more screens
to
in the
make up
cockpit
for
now, and
electrical problems.
Yeah.
Mechanical is still a real bitch to finish. The rear section of geckos can sometimes stick together rather than crack apart, which
I had the opposite problem this weekend. I was doing a gecko and I cut all the structural joints. I started at the back and worked my way to the front. And when I turned around to go to the back, I found both halves of the back of the ship had floated into the furnace on their own accord.
I had the opposite problem. I couldn't get them to break apart, and I had to drag the whole thing into the processor. It took 30 minutes. I was about ready to abandon it, but I wanted that cash. All right, that's all I got. Hard Space Shipbreaker and that. Tomorrow is Patreon day of the month after Oath of Endosteel, and it's going to be a big one. It's going to be one that I'll be making public immediately after it, so like anyone will be able to take a look at it, kind of charting the course of what the TTRPG universe is going to look like from here on out, because Wizards of the Coast got some problems. Twitch streamers that TTRPG stream got some problems. Twitch got some problems. So, I mean, I can only report on what those problems are for those that haven't learned, and give my unprofessional, amateur, observational opinion on where things might go from here.
Layman opinion.
Sure, lame opinion. Yeah, I agree with that.
I said layman.
I heard you. I just made it funnier. Wow, Wizards of the Coast is doing so much damage control right now. It's actually impressive. I gotta tell you, I
have no idea what you're talking about.
So
neither do I. So I'm waiting for tomorrow.
Yeah, all right, I'll explain it tomorrow then. The easiest way to describe it in a very short term is that Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford, people will be like, "How do we do this?" And they're like, you're empowered to make any changes you want to the D&D universe, and people will pop up and be like, fuck you! It has to work precisely like this! And I'm just like, what? And they're like, yeah! You must change the whole book! I'm like, oh, okay, Jesus. Are you kidding me? Like, you know that you cannot play exactly what's out of the book, right?
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's like a bunch of things that think that they're wolves feeding from a nearly dead corpse, but it's really like ant wolves feeding from a very live corpse that is just rolling over on crushing them. I don't know. That was that might have been the worst analogy I've ever done. James, save me from this.
Okay, let's get started then. So, episode 13, What Lies Beneath. Previously on Rogue Trader the Last Scion, we watch as the Hand of Calixis is violently thrown from the warp, vastly off course after some explosions have damaged its hull. We see several shuttles overfly the largely abandoned Lathe-class light cruiser Eternal Praetorian. We see the group step onto the bridge of the Eternal Praetorian as Nero blasts the nearby Eldar into pink mist. The doors of the bridge are violently torn open as a monstrosity lumbers in and attacks the group. And finally, we see the halls of the Eternal Praetorian decompressing to hard vacuum as the rat goal will then curl up into a fetal position as the air is evacuated and the temperature drops. The thought for the day is heresy grows from idleness. So I think we pretty much just ended it right after the combat and the healing was done. So I would say that we can sort of, if you want to, we can hand wave the getting back to the Hand of Calixis from the bridge of the Eternal Praetorian. But you know that the people that you evacuated from the ship are now down on the surface of the planet. You know that there is apparently a cache of goods. Well, the understanding is that there might be some stuff where the creature was in the rear of the ship, in the engineerium. It's really up to you as to what you want to do next.
All right, so I turn to that acolyte who I threatened at the end of the last episode where I said...
The Tech Adept?
Yeah, and I tell him, Tech Adept, you've had 60 seconds to come up with that list I threatened you about 60 seconds ago. What useful stuff can we conceivably take off of this ship very quickly? Oh, I'm not using my Nero voice. Just go with it. Damn it.
Short of stripping the ship, there's not a lot that we can. We have ammunition for our own ship. We have all the fuel we need. We have provisions. So we've removed any crew from the ship. Anything else would involve stripping it.
The captain didn't have like a big fancy vault full of stuff. The computers don't have piles of secrets of the Casbalica. Nothing like that.
It looks like this ship's only been in service to the Casbalica for a relatively short period of time. Most of its systems have been scrubbed from prior to that, but they have been here for some months, and they've been bringing up goods which have been predominantly stored in that rear part of the ship in the aft section. But it's but it looks like about a month ago something happened. These Rackle disappeared on the ship from seemingly nowhere, and the crew didn't last long.
What about any heavy digging equipment? I know that they were doing digging down on the planet.
That's all on the surface of the planet. The dig hadn't finished, as far as I can tell. They were just bringing up the most recent. They according to this, they have multiple Sentinel power loaders. They have a Chimera which has been retrofitted for heavy industrial use, but it's all on the surface of the planet.
But we are sending shuttles down there to pick all of that stuff up, including the people.
That's the plan, I believe. That's
fantastic.
Your orders.
Well, they're the Lord Captain's orders, so remember that part. Lord Captain, in order to keep this plan secret from everyone else here, I'm going to lean over and whisper to you about that thing we talked about on Discord. Whisper, 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 whisper.
Proceed.
Thank you, sir. All right. Well, if you've got all of the useful stuff on this ship ready to go, let's load it up and head back to our much better ship with all of our new shuttles.
when you say the useful stuff, I mean, we can gather the materials from the aft section, but the entire ship is decompressed. So
We're wearing void suits, aren't we?
So it's just the people. That's the group of us that are here. So we don't know what the size of goods is in the aft section without actually exploring it.
Very well. Can we do so from outside the ship? Take one of our shuttles, land nearby again, go back in on that part of the ship? We really want to avoid the rat ghoul here.
So there are no life signs on the ship now, other than what's here in the bridge. But there'd be access patches we can use in the aft of the ship to access that area from outside.
Good, because I don't want to walk any further than I have to.
Especially given the nature of this ship's corridors, could take a considerable amount of time.
All right, well, super lock this bridge. Make sure no non-imperial presences can get on board, all of that, etc., etc. You know, make sure the rat ghoul don't do anything, and then we're leaving. So how long is that going to take you?
To go and gather the goods from after the ship?
No, we're going to fly the shuttles over there and go take them.
Okay, well, so we need to find our way back. Remember, we didn't memorize the route here because somebody only just failed their role to actually navigate their way to the bridge. But we'll have to find our way back to the airlock.
I mean, you have the ship's schematics open on this computer here right now, right? No? Yes?
Yep. So we can pull up that and we can download it. It depends on it's the whole ship is designed to be confusing, so we can.
Right. How about this? Can we try this plan? What if we only left a single path to the airlock pressurized, and if we come to an unpressurized door, we know we're going in the wrong direction?
We can only pressurize by component. So this whole top section is effectively the bridge and command section is pressurized.
I understand it's confusing and stupid, but let's go. Lord Captain, we're going to need to wander around the ship for a while until we get back to the shuttle. And then we got to fly to another part of the ship and then steal and claim all of your lawful salvage. Is everybody good? Dawn, are you done radiating? You seem like you were pretty heated back there.
So Dawn is just sort of like sitting on a chair or something like that, just like working on her breathing. And she'll stand up and compose herself and just sort of nod at Nero.
Okay, listen, I really appreciate what you did back there. You were fantastic.
I mean, I do what I can. It is my job, after all, to make sure that the Lord Captain is safe to a degree. I mean, that is also your job and everyone else's.
It's pretty much my primary concern, actually.
She'll nod again and just sort of just make sure that all the bits and bobs are in order before readying herself.
Did you want to do anything in particular with the burnt husk of the monstrosity or the broken shards of the crystal?
I mean, in regard to like what is the general rule for that sort of? I mean, it's Xeno, right? Both of those things.
Yeah.
I'll make it simple for you. Burn it.
I mean, absolutely.
I mean, it died from being on fire, so it's already pretty burned. I mean, to actually render it into ash, you'd have to probably put it into some sort of furnace or something like that. But
damn it! Can we turn a room into a furnace?
It's the bridge.
She doesn't have a flame. She doesn't have a flamer with her, so
that's right. Damn it.
And as far as I am aware, like most of the ship isn't pressurized, right? Except for this room, so
except for this section of the ship, yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, I guess she can sort of like light a fire. I don't know. I mean, that's a weird one to say. But
anybody have any shape charges on them? I essentially want to make sure this thing's dead.
I have a grenade. You also have a grenade, Lord Captain.
Actually, I have a crack grenade.
I mean, you could easily just member it with what you've got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'll go ahead and make sure it's dead.
Okay. And the shards of crystal probably don't burn. They're broken, but they don't actually burn.
Do they crush easily? Like if you step?
Now it's become brittle now, so you can break it down even further.
Okay, that works.
Cue high heel stomps on crystal, I guess. Isn't that what like all the ecclesiarchy girls? I mean, at least that's what I've seen in the fucking.
They used to. They changed the art probably about 6 years ago to remove all the high heel power armor.
Oh, okay. I guess I've been looking at old.
I
shit
think they
then.
still have heels. They're just not as high.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only art I've ever seen has all been that click clack high heel style.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Got to get
Warhammer
that
40K.
extra 2 inches of height, you know.
In any case, we can sort of hand wave that you massacre the body even a bit more, break up the crystal, find your way back through the corridors to the airlock, and reboard your own shuttle. So when the shuttle goes to the aft of the ship, are you just seeing the tech adepts in to gather the materials, or are you going in as well?
I'll go in first, actually.
Okay, cool. So just to be clear, although the ship's been depressurized, they're still running the grav plate, so you still have artificial gravity.
Oh, that's good.
Inside the ship. Yep, that's it. All right, so once again, there's a number of corridors to navigate from the aft of the ship where you actually enter to the engineering section that's been used for storage. And probably along the way, I'll say you will actually pass a curled up, apparently dormant rat ghoul in one of the corridors. It's sort of like rolled in on itself in a sort of into a well, as much in a fetal position as a centauroid type creature can accomplish, but it appears to be static and dormant.
Does it have a discernible head and heart?
It has this. Well, it's got a chest and it's got because its upper body is sort of humanoid, so it certainly has a head.
Okay.
If it's got a chest,
I would like
that's
to
probably got a heart.
position myself to fire into the head, into the chest cavity, and then just let loose with a burst.
Okay, no worries. I don't need a roll for this. It's
Okay.
static. You blow the top of it apart. You're splattered with rat ghoul goo.
I'm used to that. Plus, this is a void suit, so
Yeah.
someone else will clean it.
Certainly, you can see that the weapons it was carrying, because it seems to have some form of flamer. It looks like it's an Imperial design, but it's been modified in alien ways, including it's been like bio-connected. So there are organic components to this flamer, as well as the conventional sort of Imperial design, which it's been copied from.
Would I
As an
know
integrated
whether
suit.
this weapon's machine spirit can be recovered, or is this thing permanently corrupted?
So just to be clear, it wasn't a human-built flamer. It's an alien-built flamer that's copied a human design
Okay.
and has substituted bio components for some mechanical components.
All right. I gesture for Dawn to like step on it or set it on fire or something. Break it up. She likes doing that stuff.
I mean,
as far as I know.
it's in a pressurized.
You're in a depressurized
depressurized
section
section.
now, so yeah. That's all right. Once again,
don't-
you can destroy. If you want to destroy it, it's not hard to destroy it. I'm just letting you know they do seem to use weapons that are modeled on Imperial designs. All right, you
Disgusting.
find your way.
Spits on it, but realize she's wearing a face mask. So like, no.
You find your way to the aft section where all this stuff is stored. So effectively, this was just like an extra storage bay. Like once again, with the ship's weird design, some of the actual placements of compartments don't make sense to put like a cargo hold here at the rear of the ship beneath the engines. It's just part of its charm, I guess. So there's a whole bunch of crates here that have all been sort of like boarded up, nailed shut. They've got sigils on the side that indicate that they do belong to the Casbalica. Most of them have like date stamps, like, this is what we dug up on this particular date. And you can see that a couple of crates have been smashed open. And there are numerous sort of clear Xeno stuff across the ground so it's like the crates are packed with like that straw material to sort of and most of what's been pulled out of there is like just artifacts, things like crystalline structures, ceramics, like not technology, just sort of like low tech Xeno artifacts of various types. in all of it, none of you got Forbidden Law Xenotech, do you? Or I don't think so.
I haven't taken Forbidden Lore Xeno yet.
Okay, so you can recognize that pretty much all of it is of a similar, like it's all from the same culture, whatever it is, or the same type of alien race. But give me an awareness test at +20, please, everybody who's here.
Of course, our enemy. Awareness checks.
Yeah, we are really bad at them. Universally so.
Okay.
Oh, I actually did well.
Okay, so out of one of the crates lying on the ground is an artifact which appears different to the rest. So it's a brass Whitman sphere, so like a hollow sphere with like a where the actual outer frame of it is like got openings and holes in like a filigree style manner as such. So if you Google Whitman sphere, you can sort of get what I'm talking about. That appears to be of a similar material and construction to the key you took from the body of the Eldar, and it looks distinct from everything else here. It doesn't look like it's the same sort of technology. Like everything else that's here is made of like clay or stone or crystal, whereas this thing is made of some sort of brass-like metal. Everything else is more rough made. This is delicately made. It stands out as different from the rest. And it looks like pretty much somebody was smashing crates until they got to the crate this one was in and then stopped smashing crates.
This looks very suspicious, Lord Captain.
Is there anything missing from the crate?
Well, there's no manifest there that you can see, so it's hard to tell, but it looks like just a whole bunch of stuff.
Because it's very strange that they smashed all the crates up until this one and then left what they were looking for. You know, like very strange.
I mean, this could quite have easily been smashed by the creature, and the creature was in this room until it came to the bridge.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The Rakghoul
What is
also
it?
avoided this room.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, so this thing, we have a key that can open it, right?
Well, you have a key that's clearly the same material and technology, but there is no. So the sphere is completely hollow. You can see inside it. It's empty in the middle. There's no clear connection between the key and the sphere, other than the fact that they are made of the same material in the same manner. But there's no like the sphere is just an empty sphere, so you can't see how a key would do anything to change it as such.
I don't know how this works, Lord Captain. Tech Adept, what's your opinion? You're sciencey.
It's clearly of alien construction, but
Let me
there
take
is
a shot at
no.
it. Just Pierre just cracks his knuckles, takes out like a magnifying glass sort of monocle deal.
Yep.
This will end well.
Is there like anything the ecclesiarchy does for these sorts of artifacts in particular that I should have known about?
Probably hands them over to the Inquisition. Really, it's this is more the Inquisition's fair.
Okay,
I mean,
so there's nothing like super taboo about like handling or whatever these sorts of things.
I mean, as alien technology, it is inherently unclean. So if there's clearly nothing to be gained from it, then destroying it would probably be what the average member of the ecclesiarchy does.
Right.
But if they feel that the Inquisition might learn something from it, then they'd probably hand it over to the Inquisition. But they would.
As the Lord Captain knuckles are cracked, I sort of step in and it's like, Lord Captain, perhaps you should not sully yourself with such, well, dirty objects, I suppose, would be the correct term here.
Very well. Would you like to do it?
I mean, would you like me to destroy it? Is that what you're asking?
Oh no, I was going to see if I can open it.
Okay. I mean, she'll sort of see that as like a command to some degree, so she'll like gulp and then like I guess like make her way over to it and be like, huh? This is what you do, Dawn. You do it so he doesn't have to. What do I need to do here? Do I make a roll or something?
There's no roll as such because it's like I'm holding up a phone and I'm holding up a battery and like I can do that to it, but there's nothing that's actually going to make it. Yeah, like there's no roll because
holding it away from her face.
There's nothing to succeed with.
Yeah. Keeping it as far away from her as possible.
Yep.
Yeah. So she'll open it, I guess. Whatever.
Well, it's not openable. There is like you have a key and you have a sphere, and there is no obvious connection to them. There is no keyhole. There is no hinge. There is nothing that appears to connect these two objects other than their design.
So I'll ask for some sort of bag, I guess.
Yep, somebody produces a bag.
Yeah, it's like, and keep this away from the Lord Captain if you can, please.
I want that back when we get on the ship.
There is some writing along the edging of this sphere, but it's not in Gothic. It's clearly in an alien language.
Could I try to discern what language?
I would give you a logic test at -10.
What if I said I had Forbidden Lore Xeno suddenly? I'll try -10 logic.
Yeah.
Are we all able to try this? Because I've got
Sure.
logic up the wazoo. Cool.
Oh, I got it.
Wow.
Oh, Don got it better. Well.
So some of the symbols do seem to match the symbols that you saw on the sash that the Eldar was wearing before it was disintegrated.
So I'll just say, like, I mean, I hate to be the obvious one to point this out, but this is clearly Eldar script.
Interesting. I'm keeping it.
Lord Captain, you have two very interesting and poignant choices. You could ask the Inquisitor for help in opening and acquiring more about this object. Your other option would be to never, ever, ever tell the Inquisitor about this object.
I would recommend telling the Inquisitor about the object.
It's probably like about 4 or 5 tickets standing around saying, yeah, probably tell the Inquisitor. It's a better idea.
I suppose I'll tell the Inquisitor.
Nero says, now, wait. Remember that the Inquisitor doesn't have any authority out here, Lord Captain, and Nero's gonna, like, scratch his chin, but with his left hand, he's gonna swing the gun back and forth towards the adepts casually and say, you're the one with all the authority out here, Lord Captain. And then he's going to glare at all these mutinous dogs.
As your spiritual advisor, Lord Captain, I would recommend that you work with the ecclesiarchy in this matter.
And that is a very ecclesiarchal answer.
As is the correct answer.
I will take both opinions into matter.
I have not offered any opinion, Lord Captain. Just options.
I figured you're more leaning towards the don't tell the Inquisitor about it side.
Like my personal opinion, Lord Captain?
Is your personal opinion to destroy it immediately?
I believe it should be handed over to the Inquisitor as well.
Okay.
I've been reading some things, and I'd feel better if you did not fall under Xenos' influence by accident.
Very well. Did these things...
I should point out, though, that there's a possibility that exists that the Inquisitor may find something with this object that he deems none of us should also know, and he'll purge all of us. Such things have happened before.
Very well.
I'm just saying, you're taking your life into your hands. But there are some sacrifices that must be made in the name of the Emperor.
when you agreed that you should hand it over, there was like a noticeable wave of relief across the tech deck.
Yeah, I mean, listen, these mutinous dogs need to understand that it's the Lord Captain's decision, but he should decide correctly. All right, tech adepts, you know what's in these boxes and crates and all of this stuff. Is it worth anything? Except for obviously this. What is this? A giant sphere? Can we call it the orb?
Certainly. So
Right.
the orb or the orb?
Ooh, yeah. Let's do a quotation italics thing. The orb. Listen, that's a classic on the Hand of Calixis. We do that all the time. All right. Besides the
everything
orb,
else that's here has probably immense value to the cold trade. So
Train?
yeah, so the cold trade is like an underground
Xenos artifacts,
black
yeah.
market in Xenos artifacts into the Calixis sector. I mean, these things serve no functional purpose. They are just decorative devices potentially. But you know, lots of nobles pay big money to have forbidden artifacts on their walls or mantelpieces and such. So
I would again point out,
they
Lord
offer,
Captain, if you tell the Inquisitor about this, he will probably confiscate and destroy all of this. So maybe just the sphere. Again, not offering a personal opinion, just options.
Mm.
Since my personal opinion seems to pain so many lower ranking
So
crew members.
There's an orb, which I'm guessing out of character, it's the soul shard of the Eldar, right?
No, we have the soul shard of the Eldar.
Okay.
Then we have the orb, which is just an Eldari orb.
Then a box.
I think we have several boxes.
Well, the specific Eldar box.
The orb is the box.
Okay. Okay.
We have a key, and we have an Eldar orb. They do not go together, as far as we know, yet. Right? James, am I correct on this so
Correct.
far? Yes.
correct. Yeah.
Let's just get back to the ship.
Very well, Lord Captain. I'm going to call ahead and Rogue Trader Cant to give some specific instructions to the landing bay for that plan we whispered about earlier.
Ah, yes.
Is there anything I need to know about?
Yes,
the,
we're calling up hundreds of armsmen with guns to wait for the crew from the planet to join us, and then
Okay.
we're going to disarm the mercenaries and have a little chat with key crew members.
Okay. No
So
worries.
our plan is to intimidate them with massively overwhelming force.
All right. So let's flash forward to you're now back on the Hand of Calixis. The crew, the team from beneath, from the planet below has been picked up, and they've been disarmed. Do you want them all kept together, or sort of separate out the key personnel, or
We really just need Lyris, mostly. When I say key personnel, I mean the boss, the head honcho.
Yeah. So effectively, what they've got. So you've got Lyris.
Yep, mercenary commander.
You've got the mercenary commander, which is Captain Bren. You've got the head of the the miners, which is Reiner Gelt, who you spoke to briefly on the con before from the planet. You've got the archaeologist, Zifra.
Zifra, yep, got her on my list.
Zifra, and then you've got two Kazbalika tech priests, effectively. So Odile and Boran are the two sort of tech adepts that are working with Lyris. So whereas Zifra is more like an outside contractor. The other two tech adepts are tech adepts in service of the Kazbalika.
Yep. All right. So
Lyris is the person in charge of the dig.
We disarm all the mercenaries. I indicate to the captain of the mercenaries I'll be back over to talk to him in a few minutes, and then we pull our boy Lyris aside for a little chat.
All right. All right. So Lyris is a man probably in about his early 40s. He is well dressed. Like he basically has a sort of like carapace armor with like broad shoulder pads that sort of show like imperial. Like he's got the imperial eagle on one. He's wearing like a nice coat over the top of his armor. They took a beautifully made bolt gun off him, like not Astartes, but certainly like a very well made bolt gun that he was carrying with him. Along with, he had things like data slates and other stuff that was particular to his profession. He's handsome as men go. Has dark hair that sort of I guess there's almost an oily look to it that's quite long. He's probably got like a few days of stubble growth, but not like it's probably not his conventional style. It looks messy in that he hasn't shaved in several days, rather than he keeps this as his regular facial hair. And he's got some scars from previous conflicts probably as well that you can see about his face and hands. But he, as you sort of walk into every room you're keeping, he stands up, and once he identifies who the Lord Captain, so you're here as well, Pierre. Sorry, if you're coming for this interrogation, interview.
Interrogation is such a strong word.
Yeah. Well, he bows when he identifies who he believes the Lord Captain is.
As this is happening, Nero is reinstalling his shoulder-mounted cannon, and it immediately swings to look directly at the guy, and then it waggles up and down just to let him know it's still working. And he says, "Yes, that is the Lord Captain, Pierre Cowles. Now, we need to have a talk, Lyris."
I'm at your disposal. I wish to once again thank you for saving us from that ship.
Nero's gonna lean in close, like with a conspiratorial whisper, and stage whisper, "Disposal is the thing that will be happening here." It's my understanding, as Nero does the detective about to deliver his conclusion speech walk, you left with Mr. Jacob Stack and an alien artifact in tow to investigate the ship at some point, yes? When you returned, you and Mr. Stack were parted. He wasn't seen from again.
Yes,
and the artifact was gone.
We argued, and he took the artifact and fled into the ship. He seemed more concerned with protecting the haul we'd taken from the planet rather than saving his own life. I was more interested in saving the people that I was there with.
So Nero's gonna slam a gauntlet against something nearby, like maybe the side of a transport shuttle, and say, "You think that we're going to believe that this man just ran off with your artifact, your precious dig artifact, without your knowledge? You didn't mention it to us at all." I mean, I think you gave him that artifact and you made him use it.
We fought over it.
Yes, I bet you did. As you plunged it into his chest.
Give me scrutiny rolls if you like, anyone that's in the room.
Fantastic. My scrutiny is awful.
I'll do his deceive. Yeah.
About as well as expected.
Yep, scrutiny.
You want to re-roll that?
Oh, well, Dawn rolled a 1.
Wow, incredible. No, I don't want to re-roll it now.
Am I here as well?
Yes. I believe so, because he bowed to you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Unless Nero brought in a picture of you he bowed to.
I mean,
I feel like getting a cardboard stand of the captain is something.
Yeah.
Yes. Our Lord Captain is so important you can only interact with his simulacrum.
I just feel like it's just like a servitor with a TV screen and then like a microphone, that or a picture frame nailed to him.
Okay, so Dawn, you can tell when you're watching him, listening to him, that he's not telling the truth about the interaction. And in fact, when Nero implies that he stabbed the guy with the crystal, like, you know, he visibly gets uncomfortable at that
Nero actually
suggestion.
believes him, so Nero's just like, all right, I'll believe
Well, you
you.
can't tell.
So
like, he failed his role, you failed your role, so you're not convinced either way.
Yeah, so Nero and then instead just says, a likely story.
What is my? How do I interact with this person? Like, what is my? How do I refer to him?
Well, his
Shitbag?
name is Overseer Lyris. So he is an employee of an organization of questionable legal integrity.
Right.
So I mean, he's on your ship. You have a position of authority on the ship, so you have a position of authority over him. Like, literally, at the moment, his life is in your hands, or when I say your
Okay.
collective hands right now.
Okay.
So
You
with that
may
being said,
lie.
I'll point out, like, sorry, go ahead. I was going to point out that he is like he's a member of like the mafia, so to speak. So while you can easily kill him, will there be repercussions later on? That's a question.
Okay, so I'll sort of like step up a little. Maybe I was sitting on some chair or something like that, and I'll stand up and I'll sort of brush my dress down, and I'll say, "You may lie in front of Nero, and you may lie in front of the Lord Captain, but if you lie in front of the God Emperor himself and the members of his ecclesiarchy, understand that there is going to be repercussions that far exceed your life. I suggest you rethink your answer."
Nero's going to draw his sword at this point and like place it on the guy's shoulder so he could do a head chop if he needs to. You know, it's not going to take his head off because there's not enough chopping, but it'll cut his throat. And he says, "Oh my, you were lying to me? See, that's a problem, Lyris. That's a problem. You see, Sister Dawn here has some ties with the Inquisition. We have an Inquisitor on board, of the Ordo Xenos, in fact. You know about them, don't you? They don't like it when people dig up ancient alien artifacts and sell them to people in the Imperium. It upsets them greatly. So I'll tell you, I'm pretty sure that you're not going to live for more than a few more minutes. And you might think you're protected by the Casbalica, but you're not. When it turns out that you've brought inquisitorial attention to them, they're going to be like Casbalica, more like Casball liquors."
The Dawn sort of like she's like straight faced, and when you say that, she just kind of like does like a spit take almost when you say that, and then like goes back to her like posture again afterwards. But she's got like this stupid teenage smirk on her face, like balls.
They're going to be tripping over themselves to deny any influence with you. They might offer up family members and friends to the Inquisition just to make sure that you can't come back to haunt them. So why don't you tell us everything we need to know? And then I might offer you an honorable suicide. Or you can continue lying to us, and we'll ask that Inquisitor to get involved. And I assure you, not just you might be involved. Nero's gonna like put an arm around his shoulder and gesture with the sword towards all of his waiting Casbalica crew members. Don't you feel some responsibility to these people? What if they were hanging upside down, nailed to a ceiling, bleeding out over the course of days, their skin ripped off? I'm not saying I would do it, but, you know, he might make you watch. The Inquisitor is very skilled, I understand. Feel like talking yet?
I am more concerned with you right now than
Yes, that's good.
The,
That's good.
than I am with what the Inquisitor may feel about my employers.
As I mentioned, you are not likely to survive more than the next few minutes. But it is a question of the level of pain you inflict on yourself and others.
Why are you concerned with us rather than...
Well, what I mean is I'm willing to do whatever deal you want to ensure my own survival.
Why don't you tell the Lord Captain here everything we need to know? or else. And then Nero's gonna waggle his sword in his face, just to make sure he knows what or else means.
Every minute you waste on my time not telling me what I want to know, I'll have him cut off a finger.
Oh, Nero's gonna pick up one of his hands and start inspecting it with the sword.
With the power blade off.
Jordan will sigh and then sit back down and just like men and their interrogations.
There's been multiple expeditions to Agaria Abundus 12F before to try and penetrate the maze city, the Agarian maze city, and they've always failed. We were sent there with a different task. We were to try and, rather than breach the walls of the maze city, to mine down and try and find a way through under the ground. We were able to access part of the maze city through this, and our mandate was to recover artifacts that could be sold as part of the cold trade by the Casbalica, which is what we were doing. The artifacts we pulled out were Agarian decoratives, things of value but no threat. But we came across what I believe the Inquisition call a halo device, a crystalline structure that holds alien genetic material that can infect a person, change them physically. It was brought on to the ship by mistake, along with everything else that we brought back. Because it to the miners on the planet, it looked like any other Agarian crystal we pulled out of the mines. We fought. So myself and my outsider, we discussed it. We fought over it. There was a scuffle. He was stabbed in the chest, and he fled with that thing sticking out of his chest. And that was the last I saw of him.
Well, we believe that your friend somehow merged with the genetic DNA that was inside that crystal.
And that's what they do. Mm. Well, at least that's what I've heard. I've never seen one before.
And why did you lie to us? Why did you put us at risk to go hunt down Jacob Stock, who you already knew what had happened to him? You didn't warn us of the danger.
I had assumed he would have died, and after I heard you try to contact him via the Vox and you failed, then I never asked you to look for Stark. I simply told you that there was one other of our crew somewhere in the ship.
But you didn't warn us that he might have accidentally gained a alien artifact that could morph his DNA in a struggle that you had with him.
Who else knew the exact nature of this artifact besides you?
I don't think that anyone else in my team really has knowledge. I mean, maybe that archaeologist. I don't know if she's ever encountered Halo devices before. But
what was her name?
Zifa.
Nero's going to turn to the Lord Captain and give him a quizzical look.
Out of character, wasn't Zifa the one that recommended us go?
Yes, Zifa's the one who sent us to go find him.
Yeah.
Interesting. She was actually the one that told us to go find him. Is there anything else that you'd like to inform us?
Only that obviously my employers would be very grateful for the safe return of at least their senior team, and would pay well still for the artifacts we recovered.
We'll speak with your employer.
Who's your second in command?
This was Stark. Was my he was my.
Who's your current second in command?
Odd Isle probably would be the next most senior person.
Lord Captain, I would recommend that we allow this man to commit a very honorable suicide. And maybe we don't kill all of his men and his family, or hand him over to the Inquisition.
We'll keep him on hold for now to figure out what we want to do with him. You didn't
Nero.
lie to
I want to be
us.
clear. Nero, with terrible acting, looks very sad to have seen him say, "Oh, what a shame that we aren't killing him," and hands him over to some armsmen with instruction to take him to the super brig. Like the regular brig, but much worse.
Yeah.
They don't have TV in the Super Brig.
I feel like the super brig is across from the other brig cell while Nero shot that guy in the brig, and they just left the body in there, so now all he gets to do is look at the body of a dead person in the cell across from him.
The brig is where they put all the the white collar heresy crimes. So
Lord Captain,
Let's
do we
have the
tell his men?
Huh?
What do we tell
we
his
need
men?
to speak with the oh shoot, what was her name?
Zifa.
Yes, Zifa. Have her spring here.
All right,
See if she knew.
I'm gonna gesture to some armsmen to have Zifa brought over.
Okay, no worries. So she's brought over. She's wearing like the red robes of the Mechanicum, like with the sort of the gold cog filigree around the base. Although she hasn't had extensive modification, she has got like a cybernetic eye, which has numerous sort of like little magnifying glasses and things that can sort of drop down in front of the eye to give it different levels of magnification or different views. She's also got a cybernetic arm as well, which has like a number of little mini appendages that can come out of the forearm part of it for like little tools and little brushes, that sort of stuff. She's unarmed, as far as you can tell. Well, she's when they searched her, they found no weapons, I should say. She sort of comes in and all they took of her was just she had a data loom, a had pattern data loom. That was it. And she sort of bows respectfully.
Zifa, I want to make this relatively quickly. The friend you told us to go help find is dead.
Did he have a crystal with him? Purple in color. She sort of gives like a description of it.
Yes. Do you know what the crystal was or what it was about?
I believe it's a Halo device, and if that's what it is, it needs to be destroyed.
Do you know?
They're incredibly dangerous.
You know what You know what that device does?
I've heard that they are some sort of DNA store that people have used them in the past, and while they do make them initially stronger, eventually they turn them into something completely inhuman.
And you knew that your friend had the device?
I saw Stack and Lyris leave, and I saw only Lyris come back, so I assumed that wherever Stack was, he had the device.
That checks out. That is pretty much what she told us. She didn't tell us that it was a Halo device and it could do this exact thing.
Yes, it seemed that your friend had succumbed to said device and attempted to kill us. Fortunately, we were able to kill him, though we did not know what the device did. So you endangered us. I don't care for that.
I didn't know for sure that's what it definitely was. I just needed to make sure that it was found so that I could then tell you to destroy it.
You could have at least warned us about it.
I'm sorry, Lyris was nearby. I tried to get across what I could in the time that I had. They don't really trust me, these people. I'm not part of their group. And then we were stuck on that ship with those creatures, and more people were dying every few days. It was...
Nero's just gonna nod.
Terrible.
He believes her.
Yep. If you want, you can make scrutiny rolls.
Okay.
She's not attempting to deceive, so you can roll +10. It's not an opposed roll. It's just you're reading her.
Nope.
I'll
Doesn't
spin
carry
a
over.
edge. Fate.
Wow.
There we go.
Okay. So, I mean, your general belief is that she wasn't attempting to conceal it from you in order to put you in harm's way. You know, she was just, she hadn't had her suspicions confirmed. Her most important thing was simply to find Stack. You know, her idea was if you find him, you find him alive and with the device, and then she could tell you more about it once she wasn't attempting to conceal you from you or put you in harm's way. It was just, she said what she said at the time.
So now Nero says, well, now I'm not so sure. Let me think about it.
I believe you.
All right, the Lord Captain believe you.
Though.
So we're not killing her?
Kill me? Why would you save me from that place just to kill me later?
We're not going to kill you later.
We're not. Question, are you part of their senior staff?
No, I'm just an archaeologist that they hired for this mission, for this dig.
That checks out. She is listed as being independent.
What did you specialize as?
Archaeology.
Archaeology and xenotechnology. So archaeology, archaeotech, xenotechnology. And cryptology. Are my doctorates.
That's what I was trying to get at. I will offer you a job. And which job is if you try to, how should I put it? Screw me over. I will have you with a meeting with Nero, and I do not know the outcome of said meeting will happen.
Nero just withdraws his sword again and waves it around and goes, grrr. But as he's doing it, just to be clear, he's doing it poorly intentionally, but the shoulder-mounted gun turns to stare her directly in the eye.
Would you care for the offer, or would you rather stay independent and go somewhere else?
I am more than happy to be employed rather than unemployed.
Very excellent.
Very wise choice.
I'm needing someone that specializes in xenotechnology.
Incredible move, Lord Captain.
All right, let her go.
All right, so Nero's gonna head over to Captain Bryn, head of the mercenaries.
Yep. So Bryn is a much older man, probably in his 50s or late 50s, probably even. Grey hair, once again, like unshaven for several days and like horribly scarred from multiple battles over time. He is well built and rugged. They took from him a power sword and a hell pistol. And he sort of stands at attention as you approach him.
I assume that the Warhammer universe has folding metal chairs?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to set one up for me and one for him. I'm going to say, sit down, Bryn.
He sits down.
Sorry about taking your stuff, but we need to have a quick conversation. Are you Casbalica or are you an independent contractor?
I'm independent, but I've been working for the Casbalica for probably 3 years now.
Okay, all right. So, I mean, you have some slight problems here. First, you've totally failed in your mission. You failed to protect... Well, I'm gonna have to estimate that probably 99% of the crew of the Eternal Praetorium are dead, so let's start there.
So, I'm not sure what response you're asking me for.
I'm sorry, I'm just pausing for dramatic effect. It's a thing that I do. So, the bigger problem is that Lyris tried to kill us. And you can understand that we might hold that against him a little bit. That's a problem, especially if you're Casbalica aligned.
I'm still not sure there's a question.
There's not. I'm pausing for dramatic effect. I want you to take this information, digest it, kind of let it sink down to the depths of your soul. Out here in the dark depths of space while you're on this ship, the Emperor's authority comes from the Lord Captain. So trying to kill the Lord Captain is like trying to kill the Emperor. The highest level of treason and heresy. Would you agree? You're a good Emperor-fearing man, are you not?
Of course, and I see. I would have no reason to attack or try to kill your Lord Captain.
So let me ask you a question. If we kill Lyris after explaining what he tried to do to us, what do you think the Casbalika's response is going to be? As a neutral but well-informed observer.
So there's a lot of depends factors here.
Give me the short version.
Are you going to tell the Casbalika what you've done?
I don't know.
I mean, at this point in time, the Casbalika doesn't even know that you've been here unless you've communicated
Correct.
with them.
I'm aware of that, but I mean, for one thing, if we let all of you live and we return you to the Casbalika, it's a problem for us, obviously. But I don't want to have to murder you. You seem like you're a very useful man.
I don't see how we're at odds with each other other than
I agree.
You claiming that Lyris tried to kill you.
Lyris did try to kill us, so I don't have to claim that.
So I didn't see that. That's what I'm saying.
Move past that part.
Yeah.
Assume it's true.
Yes. So your captain is a rogue trader.
Yeah.
The Casbalika works extensively with rogue traders.
Yeah.
You have saved a group of their employees from a failed operation. Right now, everything has seemed pretty aligned.
Okay. I'm following that. You'd be willing to tell them this?
Yes.
After we murder Lyris. And by murder, I really mean sort of imperial justice execution. Okay. It will probably involve him walking out of an airlock.
I don't work for Lyris. I work for the Casbalika. So
good. These are the answers I like to hear. Now, Captain Bryn, we have a small problem. You're going to be on the ship for a while. I mean, you could be on for upwards of 5 to 6 months before we make the next port. And, well, you don't currently have a contract or a job, and you don't do anything on the ship yet.
So you're proposing some sort of work for our berth type thing?
Well, let me put it this way. The Lord Captain has tried several times to secure the services of ground mercenaries for some upcoming, let's call it wet work. Maybe a little riot control, maybe a little Xenos killing. We could use 24 men like yourself.
Well, me and my men will earn our keep.
Good. Nero holds out a hand to shake.
He goes to shake your hand.
I want to be clear, Captain Bryn. As far as I'm concerned, you're in command of this contingent of Casbalika scientists and whatever.
All right. Although I doubt that the 2 tech adepts will care much for my directions.
That's okay. If they don't like it, I'll kill them. So why don't you organize everyone? We'll have our ship steward come down here and make sure you all have rooms and such. We'll return your arms and armor. Just don't get any funny ideas about using them on the ship, of course. And
no.
I'll come to you when we have missions. And I assure you, you'll be let off at the next port.
They're actually quite well equipped, by the way. So they took off his men. They basically had hell guns, and every 5th guy had a heavy stubber.
Yeah, this is good news for me. This is exactly what I want to hear.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna walk over to the Lord Captain with my folding metal chair under my arm, and I go, Lord Captain, I know you've been trying to get some mercenary ground forces because you were a little worried about the state of our armsmen. I've secured their contract for some of that upcoming work that we've got. You can see that they're fairly well armed.
Excellent.
Their leader has assured me that he will explain the situation with Lyris to the Casbalika when we return their people.
Good.
He is under the impression that we will also be returning their artifacts as well. I did not dissuade him from that. That's a conversation for you and him at a later time.
Fine.
Well, I didn't want to shoot him in the face in the middle of the cargo hold with everyone watching.
Very well.
There is a possibility that he dies between, now and when we drop him off, It's a dangerous business being in space.
This is true. Very well, I'll have to have a conversation with their employer in any way. Due to me wanting that light cruiser there.
That's true. It is a nice light cruiser. It's not as good as the Hand of Calixis, but it's nice.
It's bigger.
Filled with rat ghoul.
Well, we can fix that problem.
Yes, I believe it is a fixable problem with caution.
And a lot of fire. Maybe
temperature does not seem to affect them as much as it might other species.
They don't like warm heat. We can also probably get Death Watch later.
I mean, Nero's just gonna turn towards Sister Dawn and says, I'm not the specialist on thermo warfare, sir.
Fair enough.
She's like looking around, just like at someone who is apparently. So
You light yourself on fire on a regular basis.
But he lights other people on fire.
Well,
on a regular basis.
Sure. Another reason to believe they're a specialist in thermal warfare. Yep. Nero's just gonna go, man, I'm hungry, and wander off.
So the final thing before we go to the break is that your Vox buzzes, Pierre, and the Master of Whispers, Noble Coral, is asking to see you and you alone in your chambers when you're available.
That should be fun.
That's not suspicious.
Well, it's Master of Whispers. It's obviously something suspicious. Something shady is happening, and I need to know about it, apparently.
A rebellion. It's that Master Inferno. Disco Inferno. That's her name.
It would be that and the other one that we just got, the Sergeant Major.
She's not going to be leading a rebellion against you. No, it's the Infernus Master.
Maybe.
Let's wait for James to tell us when we come back from the break. In 8 minutes for the second half, he's actually going to tell us that the Master of Whispers wants better accommodations and food.